Yo fam, what is up? I am Sixy. Today's guide is on the Grimrail Enforcers, the second encounter in Iron Docks. I think most people understand the abilities, but I think we can squeeze out a little bit of efficiency in this encounter. But as always, since these guides are for everyone, including new players, we will go over all of the abilities and general strat. If you find this video useful, please consider subscribing. I'm very close to 1,000 subscribers, and I appreciate all the love and support I have received so far. Thank you so much. Let's jump in. This is a council fight with 3 different bosses that all have different abilities. Makog, the middle boss, will cast Flame Slash, a frontal that deals damage in a line to anyone standing in front of him. It can be avoided by everyone, including the tank. He also casts an ability Lava Sweep that sends out waves of fire that can be dodged by shooting the gap that is created. This ability seems to prefer to target ranged. Nisa Nox, the boss on the right, casts Gut Shot repeatedly that deals physical damage and targets random players. Nisa also casts Malfunctioning Jumper Cables 9000 XL. Make sure you don't get the name wrong. A chain lightning that cannot be interrupted. In watching the VOD of the World First Plus 27, there's no clear correlation between the ability being cast and damage taken by the party. It's possible this is one of those abilities they forgot to scale up with dungeon key level. Nisa will also cast Ogre Traps, which will place these traps on the ground. If stepped in and applies Shredded Tendons. Shredded Tendons will stun you for 2 seconds and apply a nasty bleed that really hurts. The Dungeon Journal states that this ability only slows you, however you can see here that I get stunned after I accidentally step in the trap. The last ability that Nisa will cast is Summon Bomb Squad, a unit that charges towards the enemy and blows up in an AoE circle. The last boss, Arioke Dugru, casts 2 abilities, Blood Bolt, that can be interrupted and should be, and Sanguine Sphere, the main focus of this guide. Sanguine Sphere is cast roughly every 30 seconds. The exact time changes depending on Blood Bolt kicks. Sanguine Sphere will be placed on the enemy with the lowest health, possibly the lowest health percent, and if broken will heal all 3 bosses for 15% over 3 seconds. The shield will persist for 10 seconds, and the shield does not scale with key level, so it's very easy to break. Stopping this shield from being broken can save quite a bit of time on high key levels. If we wanted to make this boss as efficient as possible, instead of killing Dugru, which is the boss that I see in Pugs killed first all the time, we would instead focus Makog. I did a bunch of math to prove this would be the most efficient, but it would require the tank to reposition Makog every 30 seconds, then bring him back in after 10 seconds. This would work very similar to Stavros and Castle Nathria, where you position him at the top of the boss stack, putting him to the side for Flame Slash, and then letting him run back. After Sanguine Shield expires, you can bring him back into the boss stack and resume 3-target cleave. Now, the strategy that the pros employed this weekend in the Great Push is kind of similar. Instead, they focus Nisa Nox. Nisa, the boss, is very hard to move. The only way to make this boss move is to actually line of sight around one of these corners. However, we can use this to our advantage in the boss encounter. If we focus Nisa, the Sanguine Shield will be cast on her. We can then move the other 2 bosses away to maintain 2-target cleave, and then move them back once the shield has expired and resume 3-target cleave. Up until the Great Push, none of the groups I watched were employing this strategy. On live servers, the #1 group broke the shield 3 times and just DPS through the heal. This is an entirely viable strat for a really long time, but at some point, the amount of time you lose on healing these bosses will catch up to you and stop you from timing the key. Now, one interesting thing I want to point out is that in this clip, when the 3rd Sanguine Sphere is cast, Nisa had more health and a higher health percent than Dugru had. Not sure why Sanguine Sphere was cast on Nisa and not Dugru, but a conversation for someone who has a better understanding of how the game is coded. Hope you found this video useful. If you did, please consider dropping it a like, and I'll see you on the streets. Peace.